How's it, folks? The new Starfield gameplay deep dive just released a whole bunch of new information about the ships, and this video is specifically about the customization you can expect to find in the ship, as well as some little details I want to point out about it, because it has me quite a little bit excited. So let's get straight into it. So that was basically just showing off a whole bunch of different cockpits and ship types you can see coming down to land. And it's also what I'm assuming is the same cutscene for landing and taking off that will probably become quite familiar once you get into the game, as you'll probably be doing it fairly regularly. So the freighter, you can see a whole bunch of modules specifically for holding cargo or for transporting goods. And then we get a whole bunch of different cockpit views, which I'm excited about. So it's not all samey looking. And I'm thinking they're from the different manufacturers that was brought up in the video. This one says Tayo, that I can find over there. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so that was the ship I think we just left the cockpit of. It's pretty small compared to some of the other ones we've seen, but it is quite a long boy. And then the next one is a bit of a freighter style bigger ship. And then the next one got even bigger. Whole bunch of new modules, and look at the engines. Got 3 of those Grav drives. So this is probably more suited for long distance exploration or covering a lot of distance when you warp in between different systems. And then this one, I want to point out that it looks like the cockpit is off center. So it is very modular based, the ship customization.
Space exploration is possible thanks to your ship. Your ship is almost like having another character or home you can make all your own. I think you'll be blown away by the amount of stuff you can do.
So that's pretty cool. So you can become pretty much a spacefarer, like maybe not even leaving your ship. Wonder if that could even be possible. Just spend the whole time on your ship, because it says it becomes your home. But I'm assuming that's more along the lines of a home base, so you can sleep, store stuff, craft, that sort of stuff. But I doubt you will probably miss out on a whole bunch of quests without landing and actually taking part in them. Okay, now we get our first look at the ship customization. So we've got vendor credits at the top right and your credits. So it looks like a ship we could buy. And then we got a ship 106, a Celestial 2. And then we've got at the bottom, it's inspect, sell, purchase, and exit. So this is, I'm pretty sure, is the purchasing screen from the shipyard. And then we've got a whole bunch of ship stats on the left, starting from the far left. I think it's ballistic weapons. PAR, I think, might be particle weapon systems or something like that. Laser, engine, shield, and gravity. And then the bar below it is how modular I think it is. So the 4 blue bars look like what's extra compared to what your ship has. And then the red bar in the engine is probably, it's got 3 less engine modular slots compared to the ship you currently have equipped, but has significantly better laser, slightly better shield, and power. And it can fit a crew of 6, so you do have a crew limit depending on the modules you're using. Shield is 975. It's jump distance, so they do have distance, so I'm assuming the better Grav engines will increase that distance. And then the reactor is 31, which I'm assuming is a different energy you can use to split between your different weapons or your engine, your shield or whatnot that's shown off late in the field. And then it's got the weapons below that with ballistic, power, and laser, which is slightly less. And then its value and its mass unregistered. Oh, there's also a little thing here saying shielded capacity. So maybe you can get different shield modules that will protect you. And it mentions its fuel of 210, hull points of 1083, and cargo capacity of 1180. And then the next one is the Dragonfire II. Looks much bigger, and it's got, it's more focused on weapons. It's got the PAR and the ballistic, but it doesn't have any laser weaponry. And engine is also about the same as previous ship, but 3 less than 1 equipped. And the shield is slightly better, and Grav engine is almost maxed out. That's pretty cool. And then Slipstream, pausing on here. Probably not going to go through each of them, just pausing so you get a longer view of all of them now. This one looks pretty cool. I like this one. A Voyager 3. Okay, look at that Grav and shield. This is definitely for exploration. And 30 light year jump distance. And this one also is slightly different weapon loadout. So it's got MSL, which I'm assuming is missiles. And then the Marathon, little golden boy. And then we move on to a bit of customization. So store max 30 cargo hold. Spaceship's cargo modules increase your ship's inventory space. Value and mass of 44. Cargo to 10, hold 5. So it actually adds hold points to the ship you're adding it onto. That's pretty cool. And then it's got all the other stats listed at the bottom of the screen. Oh, it's including mobility and top speed here. Okay. And one error, so maybe you need to sort out this error here before you can actually finish building whatever it is. And now it's putting in a landing bay. Spaceship landing bays come equipped with an auto-deploying ramp for quick access to and from planet surface. You can also put this on the side of the ship, so it doesn't have to be at the belly of the ship, which is pretty cool. I quite like the modular system they have going for this ship customization. I can imagine many wacky builds appearing on the Starfield subreddit very quickly.
You can buy a ship,
I'm sure you can find something you like.
customize and upgrade that ship, and hire a crew to keep it up and running. And it all starts in spaceports.
Okay, so now they're showing a bit of the interior of the ship. So this is probably inside one of the modules. And you've got a crew limit depending on the modules you're using. And then the crew will add different modifiers for your ship, which I think is pretty cool. They cover that in the companion section coming up. So we'll go in more detail there. But it looks very cool.
Every spaceport has a ship technician where you can purchase, sell, and modify ships.
Anything I can help you with?
And we've got a new ship design here. This one looks a little bit more militaristic with that paint job. Quite a bulky fella too. Because that looks like it's got a whole bunch of rockets that will fire out of that slot there. And this might be either more rockets or some other heavy weaponry like ballistic weaponry or magnetic weaponry or something like that maybe. And then big ass jet engines. Oh, and this is a big bulky boy. This is, I think, probably just for transporting a lot of goods, like a freighter type class ship. Doesn't look very well equipped, but it doesn't look like it's got a lot of those cargo holds that were shown earlier. Okay, so we got the option to repair ships here. I wonder if we'll be able to repair it ourselves without spending money with either like a perk or with a outpost spaceport or something like that. I'll be more interested in doing that rather than returning to colonize spaceports to keep repairing it. And then I'd like to view and modify my ships, which we've already seen a bit of. Let me see what ships you have for sale, which was shown near the beginning. Where did you say I could sell things? So just asking for some information. And where can I go if I need more crew for my ship? So probably asking for the local drinking spot. So this is a nice place to get orientated when you've just landed on a new outpost or settlement or whatnot.
Maybe you start off with a speedy fighter that's perfect for bounty hunting.
This is probably quite a maneuverable little fighter type ship. I like that little nose piece. Not quite sure what it will do, but it looks pretty cool. And you can see like bits of weaponry also scattered around the ship. And it's also quite small and compact, so it's probably going to be fairly maneuverable compared to the big chunky boy shown later on.
Then you might round out your ship roster with a hulking space freighter to run cargo missions, or even do a little smuggling.
Okay, this looks definitely like a freighter style class ship where you get a high cargo capacity but not much in the way of weaponry. So maybe try and get decent shields and a good grav drive so you can escape combat that way if you try to transport a lot of precious cargo. And another thing that's brought up during this is you get a ship roster, so you don't have to only have one ship at a time. You can have like a whole fleet and have ships for specific roles like the fighter and the freighter class shown here. So that I'm really looking forward to. Building up my fleet, trying out different ships without scrapping or selling the one I'm currently using. So that's pretty cool. And then once again confirm you can smuggle with us. So maybe, I'm not sure if it's included, but I would like to see some sort of cloaking tech or something that could hide your cargo manifest from being scanned, because you'll probably get a significantly more value for selling your smuggled goods in a place that has fairly high restrictions regarding them.
For now, though, we're going to take our starting ship, the Frontier, and make some changes.
Okay, so this specified that this is going to be your starting ship, the Frontier. It looks like a bit of an all-rounder. That's pretty cool. And you can have a limit of 2 crew members to start off. So you'll probably start off with that robot boy, maybe. And only 50 fuel, 366 hull, and a limit of 450 in the cargo, but they've got over 18,101. So I wonder how they're going to do overcapacity in this game. Maybe you'll just be very slow and not very maneuverable.
You can customize and upgrade everything you see here.
Okay, so this is where all the customization comes in. So let's start from the very bottom. So the bay we've already covered. You can really place that pretty much anywhere. They showed that placing on the side of the ship as well, as long as it's, I'm pretty sure you have the restriction of it having to be at the bottom of the ship so it comes in contact with the ground or whatever you land on. And then of course the landing gear for takeoff and landing. I wonder what's the point of upgrading that if it's going to be like a cutscene for landing and takeoff every time. So maybe you upgrade it and it becomes more fuel efficient somehow, maybe, I'm not sure. And then going up, we've got the cockpit. We've already seen a couple of different variations of that. And then the cargo hold, which is increasing your ship's inventory, and the reactor. Now this is probably where you get all your energy from to run your different ship systems, like the different weapons and the engine and the shield and whatnot. So the better the reactor you have, the more options you have with regard to dealing more damage or trying to escape a fight or whatnot. So that's going to be a pretty important component to upgrade, I think. And then we've got different weapon types. So it's probably like some sort of big weapon, so maybe like a flak cannon or ballistic weaponry or something, and then what I'm assuming is the laser weaponry next to it, and then the missiles right next to it. And then we've got a habitat module, so this is probably like the different modules for things like crafting or sleeping bays or your command center and that sort of stuff. So that you'll probably increase your different crew members from that sort of stuff. And then the engines, pretty self-explanatory, move faster, become more maneuverable, that sort of stuff. Going back up, we've got the cowling for changing out different shapes and whatnot. So I'm not sure if the cowling actually changes any stats or whatnot. It seems to be maybe just a cosmetic piece for changing the look of your ship. I'm not quite sure. And then we've got our shield generator in a little ball hickey dewey thing. So that also might be a pretty important upgrade to take care of. And then the docker. So you will need that if you want to dock with other ships, which I'm definitely going to try and get pretty early on if it's not already unlocked, because I'm going to be a bit of a pirate, methinks, taking over some ships. And then we've got the fuel tank, so that's probably just going to be your fuel capacity. And you might want to make sure that's not anywhere too vulnerable, because that will probably be a place you can, in fact, it does show up later that you can target specific parts of a ship to shoot at, so you might end up losing quite quickly if that blows up while you're in combat. And then we've got the Grav drive, which the way you can walk between different star systems in Starfield. So better Grav drive, and the more of them you have, the bigger distance you can jump, pretty much, I think. That's a whole bunch you can customize just for one ship, which is pretty cool.
And you have two ways to do that. You can quickly upgrade individual systems like your weapons or shields.
Okay, so now got a whole bunch of different weapons showing up here. So we've got autocannon, lasers. Oh, so I got confused. So it's lasers was the big bulky boy, and the thinner one was the autocannon. And then we got a missile launcher and an electron beam. So what they mentioned here is you can upgrade individual components straight away without going full modular business. So if you just want to upgrade your weapons, you can just go into the weapon system and buy a bigger, better gun. So whole bunch of stats on the right with your range and fire rate, hull damage, shield damage. Okay, so you probably want to have a mixed match of weapons. So some weapons will take down the shields, maybe get like an EMP missile if that's in the game or not, and then you get other weapons focused on damaging the different hull components, and then you get max power, hull, and crew capacity from that. Okay. Oh, and you right at the bottom, required skill, starship design. So you are going to need to level up that skill if you want to get bigger and better weapons and better modules and whatnot. So that is pretty cool to get confirmed. You're definitely going to have to spend some skill points upgrading starship design, or maybe if you have a companion for that to take care of that role, if you don't have to spend points in that, that might also be an option.
Or you can deep dive and enter the shipbuilder mode.
Okay, so now they're talking about actual shipbuilder mode and changing significantly more portions of it. So this is a Nova Galactic Armory, so probably where you store guns and whatnot. Adds 5 hull and 2 passenger slots. So you might be able to increase your crew or passengers from just adding more tabs to it. There are a couple of different variations shown on the right there as well.
Here you can change anything from the systems to the look and layout. Adding a new habitat module can give you more room for crew. Adding cowling can change your ship's overall silhouette.
Okay, so they specifically mentioned here about the cowlings changing the ship's silhouette, so I think it's more cosmetic stuff rather than any stat changes.
An improved grav drive allows for longer distance space jumps.
Yeah, so they just confirmed here that Grav drive increases space jumps, and this ship looks significantly better, like more sleek, more like a big boy type ship. Looks pretty cool. Okay, and then once they finished locking in the Grav drive, there was an error while they were dragging it, and now it says nominal. So I'm assuming you can take off, or maybe going back to the being over encumbered or overweight, maybe you won't be able to take off if you have too much cargo in that you've gone over your cargo capacity. So maybe you'll just have to sell off a whole bunch of stuff to even just take off. I'm not quite sure how they're going to be handling being over encumbered with regards to the spaceship, but we'll see.
You can even fully customize your paint job to get the exact look you want.
And then they got a whole bunch of different paint job customization. So you get the hue, so you can choose your color. Color 1, color 2, color 3 is okay. So you can change that. And then the saturation, and then the brightness, and then your recent, so what you selected. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of the ships you people build.
The parts you choose to build with don't just affect your ship's stats. They'll also affect what you can do inside your ship. You can have modules for crafting, or for storing and displaying your weapons.
Okay, so this looks like a crafting station module inside the ship here. Okay, and this is a storeroom for your weapons specifically. Some pretty cool looking weapons on the board and the wall there. I quite like this. And it's got Nova Galactic as the module base for this one. And there's another view of the cockpit from behind with a big sealed door. This looks like a different cockpit view. Okay, of a bigger ship. So you've got like some sort of command center table behind cockpit with multiple seats at the front. That's pretty cool. So this is definitely a bigger type ship though.
Starfield's in-game ship manufacturers bring their own look and feel to every piece of your ship. From living quarters to cargo holds, mess halls, and control rooms.
There's a bed, not much more to say. We got ourselves a bed. And there's our cargo hold. Oh, look, we've even got stuff strapped to the roof. You've got to take advantage of every bit of space in the hold, I guess. And then we've got a mess hall, so I'm assuming where your crew will eat and whatnot. And this here is a control room. And then a whole bunch of different variations from the starting ship.
Our modified Frontier is a practical ship, but with a little creativity, your ship can look like almost anything you want.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways of customizing ships is I make them look like animals. The HMS Platypus, as I called it, where it had a giant tail to it.
Going for a platypus. Oh, you've got to work on putting a fedora on that head. Got to call it Perry the Platypus. Why bring HMS Platypus into this? Perry.
And we've done spiders.
And then there, they've got some blocky top thing. Trying to say it looks like a spider, but it needs more legs.
We've done mechs. So it's really whatever your imagination is.
And while you can build your home among the stars the way you want to...
Ooh, and mechs. Okay. Optimus Prime may look a little silly, but it does actually point out some things I think are pretty cool. So, firstly, it just confirms how modular the entire ship customization is, and that's pretty cool. But also, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 modules tall. So you can build some really, truly massive monstrosities, if this is anything to go by.
You're probably not the only person who will call your ship home.
Ready to lift off when you are, Captain.
Engines ready.
The Frontier is fueled and ready, Captain.
Okay, we've got a big door going through, and this looks like the command center with a whole bunch of companions sitting at their stations. Okay, yeah, this looks like the companion system being brought up now.
Some of the members of Constellation can join you on your journey. These companions can serve on your crew, and they'll always be there when you travel.
We'll be traveling together until we either find an artifact or this lead runs dry.
Each companion comes with their own valuable skills for your ships and outposts.
Okay, so they look significantly better compared to the earlier gameplay showcase that was shown off. Even just the hair looks so much better, and the lighting. I'm glad they took the delay to spend more time improving it, because it looks really, really good. Still a bit of an uncanny valley, but that's Bethesda NPCs. They will always have like a bit odd looking. Okay, Sarah Morgan has 4 stars in aerodynamics, so that will improve your ship. 3 stars in lasers, so that I'm not quite sure if that's lasers for the ship or lasers for the handheld weaponry. Might be both, might be one or the other. And then 2-star leadership and 1 star in botany. And then Sam Coe has 4 stars in piloting, 3 stars in rifle certification. Okay, so the previous one, Sarah, was likely to be with the laser handheld weaponry rather than the ship modules. And then 2 stars in payloads and 1 star in geology. And then Barrett, he has 4 stars in starship engineering, so he might be useful to help modifying your ships. And then 3 stars in particle beam weapon systems. And then 2 stars in robotics and 1 star in gastronomy. He might be a little bit of a chef for you.
As well as unique quest lines. Eventually, some friendships might blossom into romance.
I don't know that I've ever really loved anyone except you.
Okay, so they basically talk about you being able to create friendships and even romance these characters.
And if you're looking for a little extra help on your ship, you can always hire additional crew at spaceports.
Got any room on your ship for someone like me?
You'll also meet potential crew members out in the world.
Still think there might be a spot for me on your ship? I gotta get off this rock.
The viewport. So this is probably like a bar attached right next to the docking or landing bay of your starports, and where you can pick up new companions. Marika Boros, which has 1 star in shotgun certification, 2 stars in ballistics, and 1 star in particle beam weapon systems. Okay, so not as strong as the main story companions, but probably cheaper to hire to fill out extra crew slots. They mentioned here you can also recruit crew members that are stranded or are doing quests or whatnot. So it's not just buying them basically. Okay, so Hiller has 1 star in geology and 3 stars in outpost engineering. Okay, so he'll be a pretty good bloke to plonk down on your outpost and just leave him there.
Assign crew to your ship or outposts, and their unique skills will affect how they run.
Okay, so this is the ship crew member place. So you can assign them to the ship or to the outposts. And I'm assuming what's highlighted is what is actually affecting your current ship.
And just like companions, most crew members can lend a hand in the field. Take Vasco, for instance.
He's designed around the core basics of a NASA machine.
Please avoid getting shot. You might die.
I still wanted to give it almost a humanoid personality, so I elongated the limbs. This tends to make him feel more human-like and give him a little personality.
It is a shame exploration requires so much bloodshed.
And now they show off Best Boy Vasco, who sounds a little sad to be killing people. You might die if you get shot. I'm definitely going to bring him around for a bit. He's pretty cool. But as a South African, if we can make or buy our own robot companions, then I'll probably get one and name it Chappie after that movie. I think that might be cool as well.
Using the shipbuilding tools and crew selection features in Starfield, you'll be able to build and captain the ship of your dreams.
There's a whole bunch of companions on the ship before you go into your little pilot's chair.
And now, let's take to the sky.
Now we get a takeoff from our frontier ship. And now we get some proper views from flying in space and some actual space combat.
We're putting you in the cockpit of your very own spaceship and telling you that you can do pretty much anything. And that is really cool for us as developers. Spaceflight should be exciting and dangerous, and you should feel like you're in complete control every step of the way.
Okay, this looks like the first look we're getting at using the Grav drives, the Grav engines, that basically look like we made it tear through space and then fit through the little crack.
We've extended that sense of control to ship combat. It's not about just hitting your triggers to fire your weapons.
Okay, let's take a look at the UI before looking at the ship combat. So they're playing with an Xbox controller, and we've got left trigger for ballistic, Y for EM, and RT for the laser weaponry with numbers next to it, 35, 145. And then at the bottom, left stick, so you can control your speed. It's currently at 67. X for target lock, and then pushing in the left stick for boosting. Okay. And then at the bottom left, it's showing you your energy distribution, and it's basically between the weapons, bit in the engine, and most in the shields. And then busy taking out Spacer Raccoon. And we've got 2 bars there. So the top one, I'm assuming, is the shield bar, and then the bottom is its hold points. And we're currently locked onto it.
It's a complex dance between your piloting skills and our power allocation system. Boosting power to your engines will make your ship faster. Powering up the Grav drives will shorten the amount of time it takes before you can make a jump. And moving your power to your weapons and shields means you're ready for a fight.
Okay, so this is basically talking about the different power distribution you're going to have to make note of while flying. Okay, at the bottom right, we've got ourselves... Okay, so I've just noticed that changing while they're all putting energy into the shield. So the little wiggly woggly line with the big number around it, 60, that's your shield percentage, I think. That was just added by putting more power in the shield. And then the green outline is your hull, with the bar indicated below it. Okay. So it is fairly clear you are.
You should always be on your toes because you're not alone out there.
So a Crimson Fleet Haunt has just jumped in with a skull on it. So maybe I meant a legendary enemy, or he's significantly higher level than us. And then we've got a little lock-in tab blinking below him as he locked in. So that was a laser weaponry taken off there, been fired, and it recharged. Okay, so the number around the weaponry, so you use that, and then when it goes to 0, you don't have any more energy left to use that weapon, so you'll have to use a different weapon. And then when you stopped firing, there was a bit of a brief pause before it recharged and went back up to 100. So I think one of the indicators for a significantly better Starship weapons would be reduced cooldown between once you stopped firing and when it starts recharging, or the recharge rate, or things like that. So that might be another stat to be aware of. I'm not too sure it's in the game, but I think it might be.
Unlocking the targeting control system skill will allow you to zero in on specific subsystems of the ship you target.
Okay, so now it's going to show what looks like the VATS system from anyone familiar with the Fallout games. So you can target very specific parts of the ship. So maybe go for their engine so they can't escape, or go for their shields, knock them out, or something like that. But I think the most obvious one would be targeting the engine so they can't escape, so you can dock with them. The power, so that's the weapon systems it's got online. So you might be able to disable its weapon systems as well. Okay, and then it's even got its stats listed below it in this little orange yellow ring. So it's got a whole bunch of particle weapons, 3 bars of missiles, and that's it. 4 in engine, 3 in shield, and it hasn't got any of its energy distributed to its Grav engines. Just sort of similar to us, except we have missiles.
After destroying an enemy ship, you can loot the remains from your cockpit. You can always turn any ship that engages you into scrap.
And then we get the loot menu straight from there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Pretty seamless. I like that. Okay, so now we got a little challenge that just completed. Deal 1000 damage to enemy ships with ballistic weapons. We did 250 out of 1000, and that will, I'm assuming, unlock the next perk in ballistic weapon system. So the more challenges you complete for a specific weapon or whatnot, the better you end up becoming at it. I won't lie, I kind of like those sort of progression systems, where the more you do something related to it, the better you become at it.
But you can also take a more personal approach by docking with the enemy vessel and boarding their ship.
Okay, so here it's Ecliptic Stiletto. And you can dock with it. So its engines are down, I'm guessing. And we're coming in on approach. And then I'm guessing we get another cutscene for a scene transition. And then we come in, take care of the crew on the ship before we commandeer it. Ecliptic Commandant. Ooh, I'm quite liking the hit reactions from them getting hit by the gun you fire. That's pretty cool.
Once you've taken control of an enemy ship, it's yours.
Taking command of one of the ships. I wonder what happens to your ship that gets left behind. Does it just get teleported to a starport, or will you need to go back and fetch it or something like that? Or maybe get a companion to fetch it. Or maybe leave a companion behind on the ship to deliver it to the same starport you're going to. I'm not quite sure how they're going to handle it. We'll see later on, I guess.
Add it to your fleet and retrieve it at any spaceport.
Okay, so they basically said you can, once you've got the ship, it's yours to do with as you want, and you can add it to your fleet. Okay, so Spacer Coyote 3. This looks like a pretty decently upgraded ship. It's definitely got a very good energy core. Can we get split across the whole board like that? Okay, so you do have a limit, 3 out of 9, unless it isn't a limit and it's just showing you the third ship out of the 9 you have stored in your fleet. I don't know if there is a fleet limit, or maybe it will be okay. Maybe you'll need to buy extra slots to have a bigger fleet store. Not sure. I guess we'll find out later.
But space is way more than fighting for your life. Just like when you're planetside, there are plenty of sights to see and stops to make on the way to your next adventure. Like these massive star yards. Walk the halls, talk to the crew, maybe get talked into buying a whole new ship.
A civilian in my star yard. Let's see about getting you a proper ship. One worthy of you.
Yeah, that does look pretty cool. Really, really big star yard that's out in orbit above some big planet. Oh, so you can enter them. It's not just a talking point where you land and you talk to someone to sell and buy ships. You can actually enter these star yards. I wasn't expecting that, I'll be honest. That's pretty cool. And it sounds like we've got ourselves a Maori person from New Zealand. So not everyone is American. That's pretty cool.
Maybe you'll dock with a gigantic battleship, like the UC Vigilance.
Okay, so you could dock with a huge ship. I wonder if you can end up taking over these massive ships and adding them to your fleet. That would be amazing. I'll definitely try that. I don't know if it will be possible, but I'm definitely going to try that.
Or rub elbows with the galaxy's wealthy elite on a cruise ship fit for the stars.
Terran Preservation Society. Whole bunch of rich snobs. Oh, they'll probably have a lot of fat purses, so it will be worth docking in there.
There are plenty of personal encounters to be had as well. You can hail any ship you come across to trade, swap info, or maybe even commit an act of piracy.
Let's do this.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. Any ship you encounter, you can trade with. So, or at least contact trade. And then there's an option for engaging with piracy and then getting some information. Can you tell me about the United Colonies or heard anything interesting? So maybe you can get some radiant quests or whatnot, or some information about something interesting on a nearby planet. That's pretty cool. So you can literally talk to any ship you come across. I quite like that.
When I'm playing, I generally go crazy. I definitely go like the more piracy routes. I want to take over ships. I'm gonna board ships. I'm like, this is now mine. I steal all the sandwiches and put them, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero, but I want to go out and just start taking things from people as quickly as possible.
Okay, so we get some more ecliptics and some pistol gameplay. I'm probably going to end up, at least in one of my playthroughs, going with a silent pistol, sneaking around, trying to take them all out quietly. That pistol looks really cool. Okay, we've got ourselves a hoarder here, folks. Skyrim, it was cheese wheels. Looks like Starfield is going to be sandwiches. And they look like very nice sandwiches. There's cheese, there's ham, there's lettuce. That's a very fancy sandwich. Definitely fancier than the ones I generally make. Okay, so I also wonder, so she put that in her cargo hold. So does placing items individually like that increase the weight in your cargo hold, or is it just stuff that you store in there in like those bigger container type deals? Or maybe that the cargo hold is actually the only place you can store things, other than like specific modules like storing weapons in the the weapon module. Not too sure about that.
Some strangers might be looking for a little human connection in the darkness of space.
Hello, stranger. I just finished cooking up some food. If you want to come on over, just pop on by.
Is this... Please tell me this is a reference for Skyrim Grandma. If it is, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to dock with her and join her for tea time. And I will come after anyone that decides to shoot down Skyrim Grandma. Don't do that, guys.
Some of the best moments are the ones you discover on your own. The thing I love most about Starfield is that it is a Bethesda game through and through.
What's the bet in him saying it's a Bethesda game through and through is going to be quoted by all those game media, journalist outlets, whatnot, for good or for bad. They're just going to say that as they quote.
It's really about going to strange new places, meeting interesting people, and getting sidetracked on zany adventures.
Okay, we've got some very dark horror type vibes here. Is this like a golden statue of a Greek god? Oh, look, there's turrets. Turrets with laser sights poking out from the roof. Okay, so this is a well-defended starport or settlement or something. Got like a cherry blossom tree in the foreground. So I'm guessing this is the big boss who owns this place, whatever it is. And the turrets are still busy scanning for enemies. Now we've got some sort of Egyptian vibe going for some odd reason.
Then, realizing 2 hours later that you're involved in a completely new story.
You're human. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
Okay, so that is definitely a colony ship. Is that, guys, is this Nirnroot showing up here? It looks like it. How do they have that growing? Oh no, if that starts making that weird noise. That sound is stuck in my head now.
That DNA is so present here. It's in our random encounters, it's in our handcrafted quests.
Okay, so you got a party ship as well. Some weird AR thing here, maybe?
And it feels so cool to play it and just make your own path in this universe.
Okay, so here's a look at the star map. So we've got RNA, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, as our designation, and it is level 15. So I'm assuming you'll need to be around level 15 to not be one-shotted sitting in there. And then in the bottom, you've got different tabs for missions, show me, and set course, and then going back. Also, they've got Alpha Centauri that they've just jumped through on their way to Olympus. And there is a Narian system pointed out and the Sol system. So we can visit Earth. I wonder what that will be like. It's making 2 jumps from here, so you're not actually getting interrupted and restarting the next jump. So that's pretty cool. The jump range is 18 light years for your ship. And then the distance you're covering is 29.284 light years. Okay, so that's why you need to make 2 jumps. So if you had, like, say, a Grav engine for 30 light years, you could probably make just 1 jump straight there. And you are using 57.46 units or whatever percentage. I'm not quite sure what it's, probably percentage out of 100. You're using basically 58% of your fuel to make those 2 jumps, or through Alpha Centauri to the Olympus.
There are over 1,000 planets out there, just waiting for you to visit. We want you to feel like explorers, breaking ground on new planets.
And then we get a view of the actual designation of RNI with the different planets and the gravity well surrounding its star. And we've got some other little icon, which I think maybe might be a point of interest. And then we got Kazal, the moon of Kazara, Niira system. We've surveyed 39% of it. It's the rock type, 1.44 G Grav, and it's a temperate temperature. Atmosphere is high, magnetosphere is powerful, fauna is moderate, so it has 6 different animal species on this moon, and 5 different plant species, which is moderate. Water is biological, and it has water, copper, and nickel as its 3 resources and 3 traits as well. You can set a landing target as well. And then here we have Arcturus 3, completely surveyed. An ice giant, 0.91 G, cold, atmosphere is H2, magnetosphere is weak, fauna is none, flora is none, water is none. Okay, so basically scan from space and you see that it doesn't really have anything and just move on. So you can't really, maybe you can land on the ice giant. You can. It still gives you the option of setting a landing target. It just doesn't have anything to show you, pretty much. Okay, that's pretty cool. You can still land on planets that don't actually have any important resources. Okay, this is a very rich planet. Survey 17%, Top rock gravity 0.61 G, temperature temperate, atmosphere STOM, so strong M, maybe, not sure. Magnetosphere is unknown. Fauna is marginal, flora is marginal, water is heavy metal. And it's got water, chlorine, argon, copper, nickel. Can't really see that. C6H, can't really make that out. Fluorine and what's that? IO, not quite sure. And you have the option to scan it. And then it's also got an abandoned Marbridge Pharmaceuticals lab and abandoned gravity farm. Okay. Okay, so now we got what surveying looks like. So we've got 44% scanned, 0 out of 4 fauna, 0 out of 3 flora, and 0 out of 8 resources, and 2 traits unknown. So unknown feature is 0 out of 2 scanned, and it looks like we're scanning some sort of massive fungi, so it'll probably count for flora, maybe. And in the bottom left, it's got we at Porima 4C, it's a moon, it's minus 11 degrees Celsius, 0% oxygen, and 0.52 gravity. And now we've got scan to hold, and then an option for deploying an outpost, and then surface map, photo mode, and back. Okay, so this is how you'll get in photo mode as well.
Exploring every inch of a mostly untouched galaxy. We want you to feel hopeful. We want you to feel this sense of awe and wonder, and sometimes a little fear. We're giving you a massive playground and a ton of toys, and just setting you free.
That was pretty darn cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little deep dive. If you noticed anything I missed, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you'd like to see me, I'm going to make a deep dive video of different topics around Starfield, because we've got a hell of a lot of new information and it's going to take a while to get through all it. Hit that subscribe button to keep you up to date. Otherwise, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care and cheers for now.